Thank you. I love the opening. It was great.
Yeah.
I had an experience this week. It was actually about a light bulb, but it keyed into exactly what you were talking about. I had a light bulb that went out, and I was dreading changing it because it was different, and it had never gone out for 7 years. And I had put in my mind, okay, I wasn't looking forward to this. And then I started to shift my thoughts. I saw myself changing it. I saw how easy it was going to be to find it and buy it and do it. And I said, okay, big deal. It'll work one way or the other. And then the next day, the store right next to my office had this particular bulb. I came back home. I was able to do it in 2 minutes. But what was important for me was that it keyed me into exactly what you were talking about. That my thoughts had set me up to really make this happen in a way that was easy.
It's what we call prepaving.
So this prepaving, I saw that it was incredible because it had been coming to me for a long time how happy I was about being responsible for everything that happens, by allowing, by choosing, by the thoughts, and by working on managing my vibrations, to really take an active part in that. Like, if I feel a little low, well then, okay, shift it. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it's very easy. So the pre-paving, though, really turned me on. It got me very excited last week.
We have some questions for you because we've talked about things like this before. Mm-hmm. And for quite a while when we were offering the concept of pre-paving, in other words, it's getting the thoughts out ahead of you to smooth out the resistance along your trail so that when you are inspired to the action part of it goes very smoothly. Mm-hmm. And today, we would like to say, in light of everything that we've already said to you, that the prepaving is the most fun part of the process. In other words, you might say, oh, it's nice to get the prepaving all done so that then I can just have a direct route right to what I want. And we say, if you can let the prepaving part of it be the part that you are enjoying the most, see how that dovetails with what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, very much.
Because there is a tendency to say, I'm going to do what it takes so that the action is easier, or I'm going to do what it takes so that I can get to where I want to be faster or sooner. And what we want to say to you is, you want to do that because that's the juice of life. Law of attraction and momentum are the same thing. So when you find a non-resistant idea and you focus upon it, and that non-resistant idea gains momentum, as it must, a non-resistant idea, hear this, will gain momentum naturally without you even focusing upon it if you don't do that thing you do by offering contradiction to it. Ooh. Now, focus is really, really fun. But let's back up. We want to say this again. We really want you to hear this. Your non-resistant thought will gain momentum and will come to full fruition if you don't shoot it in the foot with your contradictory thought. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
So that means once you've launched it, you can let it go and it will come about. You will begin to receive the impulses and ideas. So then as those impulses and ideas begin to come, that adds to the momentum. See how it all works together? So we don't want you to become rigid or efforting about prepaving. We want you to understand what prepaving is. Prepaving is that unconditional approach that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's using the thought rather than the action. It's using the thought rather than the movement of your physical body. It's the enlisting the energy that creates worlds and pointing it toward what you desire. Yes. So someone asked the question the other day, and it's active here in this room now, so we're going to address it. So what's the difference between having an idea of something wanted and just allowing it to gain momentum, to gather cooperative components, while I just sit happily by, focused happily on other things? What's the advantage of that over focusing on it, scripting about it, making lists of positive aspects about it, making my plan about it? What should I do, Abraham? Am I a deliberate creator or am I an allower? Yeah. And the rule of thumb is, don't be anything that you're not inspired to do. And the inspiration is that momentum that we're talking about. So it's not easy for you action-oriented beings to really get into the groove of this, because you're accustomed to what you can accomplish by moving things around. But you are accomplishing, we love you so much, in such a mediocre fashion in comparison with enlisting the energy of the world. And as you look around, those masters who get this are accomplishing big, because they are not limited by the action of their world. They are enlisting the leverage of the energy of the gods, so to speak. So what you want to do is identify what you want and think about it lightly. Some years ago, Esther was in an overwhelmed state. She had too many things on her list to do, and they were things she wanted to do and things that she needed to do, but there was not time. So she had this desire to do something that she believed in the limitation of time about. So it wasn't getting done. And as a result, what was happening to her is she was almost non-productive. The list was not inspiring her, it was beating her up. She was almost paralyzed with this long list. She'd even computerized it. There were so many things she needed to put on it. In other words, she just had way more to do than she could possibly do. And so finally she sat and she asked us in a more relaxed state, what should I do? She was in a restaurant with Jerry, and they were sitting with a butcher paper on the table. And we said, draw a line down the center of this big page and write everything that you really believe that you are going to accomplish today. The things that you either really need to do or really want to do, but pick a short list of what you're going to do. And Esther looked through her long list and picked 5 things and wrote it on her list. And then we said, now write everything else on your list on the other side. So her list, the header said, things I am going to do today. And on the header on the other side said, things I would like the universe to tend to. And she wrote everything on the universe's side of the placemat. It took an hour. But with each thing she wrote, she felt more relief, more releasing. It was like she was giving herself permission, because of our interaction with her, to assign this to someone else, at least for today. And by the time she went to bed that night, she got all her things done. The universe got twice as many done. People that she needed to reach had contacted her. Things fell into place without any action on her part. So what we taught her with that, and she has used that placemat process ever since, what we taught her with that is that it is her focus that is the accomplishing mechanism. But when you focus with overwhelmment, now you are shooting yourself in the foot. Now you've blocked the energy that will get things done for you, you see. So when you decide that you are going to be a deliberate creator, Esther would say, which is it, Abraham? Am I a deliberate creator or am I an allower? And we said, you are both, but let the emphasis be more upon the allowing part, because once you ask, it is given. You've just got to find a way to put yourself in what we are now calling the receptive mode, even more than the allowing mode. The receptive mode where you can receive the idea. And then you just start zigging and zagging. You have an impulse to go somewhere, and 3 or 4 things that needed to happen will all happen at the same time. It really is enlisting the universal forces. And sometimes by trying too hard, by getting too precise in what you're intending. In other words, we would not spend a lot of time prepaving putting in a light bulb, because there are many things that you're doing in a day. And if you believe that that's what's necessary in order to smooth things out, then you're going to get bogged down in minutia that you don't need to get bogged down in.
So it's this delicate balance of deliberate and receptive that...
Let's call it an easy, sure balance.
Okay.
Because it isn't hard. And once you find it relative to one thing, it's easy then to apply it to other things. How difficult is it to be happy? That's really the question. How difficult is it to be happy? Well, if something's going wrong and it's got your undivided attention, you're all twirled up in it, you might say it's not just difficult, it's impossible. But fortunately, you're going to go to sleep. And when you go to sleep, the momentum of that, no matter how awful it is going to subside. And when you wake up, you've got some new choices to make. Am I going to get twirled up in that again, or am I going to choose a happier thought? And if you choose the happier thought, then before long, within 5 or 10 days, really, you can show yourself that it is easy to be happy. And once you've discovered how easy it is to be happy, then you're going to be in the receptive mode, and you're going to start noticing how many things are taking care of themselves. Now, does that bother you? Do you need validation? Do you need the struggle and hardship? Do you need to do it? Do you need the mark on the chart? Do you need the recognition? I did this. Not only did I do it, it was hard. I did it. It was hard. I suffered a lot. I didn't get any sleep, hardly at all. I suffered, but I did this. Give me my gold star. And we say, you got a lot of gold stars and you're creating mediocrity. That's not where it's at. So the question that we would like you to leave here today with is, I want to make being happy easy for myself. I want to get really good at being happy for no reason, unconditionally. Esther said to Jerry, you really make me happy. And he said, that's not my goal. What? He said, I don't want to get in the way of your happiness, but I don't want to be the reason for it either. Really healthy. Because when you're the reason for it, then you croak.
Yeah.
You see what we're getting at?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Enough?
It is.
Really good. We have enjoyed this interaction. Indescribably delicious. When you listen back to this, if you do, Esther can hardly wait to get her ears on this one, because the new insights that you have provided are amazing. What it means is you've come as a body of consciousness, and you are perched on the precipice of manifestations. Your vortex is ripe, it always is, but better said, you're rendezvousing with that ripeness, and the deliciousness of the next unfolding is so evident. Now, we see that about you all the time. In other words, we never feel a moment's discouragement about where you are in relationship to any of the things that you want. But when you get to this place where your expectation has been bumped into a new place, the satisfaction factor for you is so much more. And that's what we are feeling as a result of this conversation here today. Your satisfaction level is drastically improved. Your set point has moved. Now, that may or may not be important to you. It doesn't need to be important to you. We just want to tell you that, because what that means is the things that are in your vortex that matter the most are now more accessible to you. There is a sort of vortexual unfolding. You've put many things in your vortex, but you also have some beliefs that are hindering them. So you have sort of been muting or buffering your vortex's ability to surprise and delight you. You sort of get what we mean? Your beliefs sort of hold some things back. Not all things, just some things. Well, as a result of a day like today, where so many wonderful conversations have happened and you've felt movement in your understanding, what that means is that your vortex now can yield more of those things that matter more to you. So what that means is life's going to feel fuller and funner and faster to you. Fuller, funner, faster. Fuller, funner, faster. And the fuller part means more of the things that interest you are going to be occurring to you. Maybe even in same moments, or certainly in same days. More of the things will be occurring to you. Fuller. Funner, you're going to be in that chilled out place of greater ease, so that you will rendezvous with them. And when you rendezvous with them consciously, to be able to watch something unfold, and you can't relate to this, but try to imagine it, it will be like standing at the tree with the beautiful piece of fruit hanging right before you, and you're just standing there watching it ripen right before your eyes. Like it's saying to you, now that you're ready, I'll be ready too. The difference is it's already ready It's you that got ripe.